Hello to all. Hope you all are doing well and enjoying your this new year. Starting with this year, we are representing our second chapter of Psychology NCERT class 11th, naming methods of inquiry in psychology. So, in this, there are goals of psychological inquiry. Like any scientific research, psychological inquiry has the following goals: description, prediction, explanation, and control of behavior and application of knowledge so generated in an objective manner. First we will discuss about description in the goals of psychological inquiry. In a psychological study, we attempt to describe a behavior or a phenomenon as accurately as possible. This helps in distinguishing a particular behavior from other behaviors. Like, for example, the researcher may be interested in observing study habits among students. Study habits may consist of diverse range of behaviors such as attending all your classes regularly, submitting assignments on time, planning your study schedule, studying according to the set schedule, and revising your work on a daily basis, like etc. So, within a particular category, there may be further minute descriptions. So, the researcher needs to describe his her meaning of study habits. The description requires recording of a particular behavior which helps in its proper understanding. So, this is about description we describe, and next is prediction. So, the second goal of scientific inquiry is prediction of behavior. And if you are not able to understand and describe the behavior accurately, so we come to know the relationship of a particular behavior with other types of behaviors, events, or phenomena. That is, we can forecast or tell that under certain conditions, this particular so and so behavior may occur within a certain margin of error. Right? So, like for example, on the basis of study, a researcher is able to establish a positive relationship between the amount of study time and achievement in different subjects. And later, if we come to know that a particular child devotes more time for study, we can predict that the child is likely to get good marks in the examination. Prediction becomes more accurate with the increase in the number of persons observed. More students, people we observe, the more we are able to predict accurately about any instance or situation. Now come next is explanation in the goals of psychological inquiry. So this is to know the causal factors or determinants of behavior. Psychologists in this are primarily interested in knowing the factors that make behavior occur, and also what are the conditions under which a particular behavior does not occur. We explain them deeply. For example, what makes some children more attentive in the class and why some children devote less time for study as compared to others. So, thus this goal is concerned with identifying the determinants or antecedent conditions, that is, conditions that led to the particular behavior of the behavior being studied, so that cause effect relationship between two variables, objects, or events could be established. This is all about explanation, and next is the control in the goals. If you are able to explain why a particular behavior occurs, then you can control that behavior by making changes in its antecedent conditions. Control refers to three things: making a particular behavior happen, reducing it, or enhancing it. For example, you can allow the number of hours devoted to study to be the same, or you can reduce them, or there may be an increase in the study hours. The change brought about in behavior by psychological treatment in terms of therapy in persons is a good example of control. Next is application. The final goal of the scientific inquiry is to bring out positive changes in the lives of people. That is to apply whatever we have gathered. The psychological research is conducted to solve problems in various settings. Because of these efforts, the quality of life of people is a major concern of psychologists. Like, for example, applications of yoga and meditation helps to reduce stress and increase efficiency. Scientific inquiry is also conducted to develop new theories or constructs which leads to further research. Now we come in the steps in conducting scientific research. What are the steps in conducting scientific research? So science is not defined by what it investigates as by how it investigates. We see more on the how it investigates of any research. The scientific method attempts to study a particular event or phenomenon in an objective, systematic, and the testable manner. The objectivity means to the fact that if two or more persons independently study a particular event, both of them to a great extent should arrive at the same conclusion. Like, for example, if you and a friend measure the length of a table using the same measuring device, it is likely that both of you would arrive at the same conclusion about its length. Second characteristic of scientific research is that it follows systematic procedure or steps of investigation. It includes the following steps: conceptualization. The steps are conceptualization of a problem, collection of data, drawing conclusions, and revising research conclusions and theory. Let us discuss now these steps in detail. First is conceptualizing a problem. So, the process of scientific research begins when a researcher selects a theme or topic for study. Then he narrows down the focus and develops scientific research questions or problems for the study. This is done on the basis of review of past research observations and personal experiences. For example, earlier that we have read that the researcher was interested in observing the study habits of students. So for this purpose, he may identify different facets of study habits first and then decide whether she is interested in study habits shown in the class or at home. Now, in psychology, we study a diverse range of problems related to behavior and experiences. These problems may be related to first, understanding our own behavior. For example, how do I feel and behave when I am in a state of joy or grief? How do we reflect on our own experiences and behavior? Why do we forget? And second, understanding other individuals' behavior. For example, is Abhinav more intelligent than Ankur? And why is someone always not able to complete her or his work on time? Can the habit of smoking be controlled? Why do some people suffering from chronic illness not take medicines? Third is group influences on individual behavior. For example, why does Rahim spend more time meeting with people than doing his work? Why does a cyclist perform better when cycling before a group of persons than when cycling alone? D. Group behavior. For example, why does risk taking behavior increase when people are in a group? And E. Organizational level. For example, why are some organizations more successful than others? How can an employer increase the motivation of employees? The list is long, and we will be learning about all this in the other chapters. So, after the identification of the problem, the researcher proceeds by developing a tentative answer of the problem, which is called a hypothesis. we assume. For example, based on the earlier evidence of our observation, we might develop a hypothesis greater is the amount of time spent by children in viewing violence on television, higher is the degree of aggression displayed by them. So, in our research, we shall now try to prove whether the statement we have taken of violence watching on television and aggression, the statement is true or false. Second is the collecting data. The second step requires developing a research design or a blueprint of the entire study. It requires taking decisions about the following four aspects. First is participants in the study. Second, methods of data collection. Third, tools to be used in research. And fourth, procedure for data collection. Depending upon the nature of the study, the researcher has to decide who would be the participants or informants in the study. The participants could be children, adolescents, college students, teachers, managers, clinical patients, industrial workers, or any group of individuals in whom or where the phenomenon under investigation is prevalent. The second decision is related to the use of methods of data collection, such as observation method, experimental method, correlational method, case study, etc. The researcher needs to decide about appropriate tools, like, for example, interview schedule, observation schedule, questionnaire, etc. for data collection. The researcher also decides about how the tools need to be administered to collect data, that is individual or group. This is followed by actual collection of data. Third of data collection is after data collection is third is drawing conclusions. So the next step is to analyze data so collected through the use of statistical procedures to understand what the data mean. So this can be achieved through graphical representation such as preparation of pie chart, bar diagram, cumulative frequency, etc. And by the use of different statistical methods. The purpose of analysis is to verify a hypothesis and draw conclusions accordingly. 4 is revising research conclusions. The researcher may have begun the study with the hypothesis that there exists a relationship between viewing violence on television and aggression among children. He has to see whether the conclusions support this hypothesis. If they do support the existing hypothesis, theory is confirmed. If not, then he will revise or state an alternative hypothesis theory and again test it based on new data and draw conclusions which may be verified by future researchers. Thus, research is a continuous process. Next topic we describe is alternative paradigms of research. Alternative paradigms of research. Psychologists suggest that human behavior can and should be studied following the methods adopted by sciences like physics, chemistry, and biology. The key assumption of this view is that human behavior is predictable, caused by internal and external forces, and can be observed, measured, and controlled. In order to achieve these goals, the discipline of psychology for a larger part of the 20th century restricted itself to the study of overt behavior, that is, the behavior that could be observed and measured. It did not focus on personal feelings, experiences, meanings, etc. In recent years, a different method known as interpretive has emerged. It emphasizes understanding over explanation and prediction. It takes the standard in view of complex and variable nature of human behavior and experience. Its method of investigation should be different from the method of investigation of the physical world. This viewpoint emphasizes the importance of how human beings give meaning to events and actions and interpret them as they occur in a particular context. Let us take the experiences that may occur in some unique context, such as the persons experiencing suffering due to external factors. For example, People affected by tsunami, earthquake, cyclone, or internal factors, for instance, prolonged illness, etc. In such types of situations, objective measurement is neither possible nor desirable. So, everyone interprets reality in her his own way based on past experiences and contexts. Therefore, we need to understand the subjective interpretation of the reality. The goal here is to explore the different aspects of human experiences and behavior without attempting to disturb its natural flow. For example, an explorer does not know what she is looking for, how to look for it, and what to expect. Rather, he tries to map an uncharted wilderness with little or no prior knowledge of the area, and her his main task is to record detailed descriptions of what is found in a particular context. Both scientific and interpretive traditions are concerned with studying behavior and experiences of others about and what about our own personal experiences and behavior. As a student of psychology, you may ask yourself the question, why am I feeling sad? Many times you take a pledge that you will control your diet or devote more time to studies, but when it actually comes to eating or studying, you forget this. So, you might be wondering why one does not have control over one's behavior. Should psychology not help you in analyzing your own experiences, thought processes, and behavior? So, it certainly should. The psychological inquiry does aim at understanding the self by reflecting on one's own experiences and insights. So, this is all about under the main topic of goals of psychological inquiry of chapter 1. Thank you.